Yes. Look at her. Alaska, hey, pork chop.
Hey, Alaska.
Now, when that happened, were you like, yes, bitch, I just got name checked in a song that every teenager will be obsessed with?
Yes, I was. When I heard it for the first time, I thought, God, I wish I'd have had some money from that, though.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. I was very glad to have been in the song. When I have to say this about Alaska, when I saw the episode of the season, the first episode of her season, I thought she should have gotten eliminated. I thought she should have went home season 1 because you remember, that's when they did the diving into the pool.
Right, yeah.
She couldn't dive. She could not do what the challenge was. So I thought she should get eliminated just based on that. But boy, am I glad she did not.
Yep.
She turned out to be someone completely different than who we saw in the first episode. And for All Stars 2, she was someone completely different than what we saw in her season.
Definitely.
And I think that's why she's won, is because she grew so much in that short amount of time from the time she was on until All Stars. She turned into a completely different person, a seasoned professional entertainer. And I think that's what pushed her over the top, is that she changed so much in front of all of our eyes in such a short amount of time. That's what I have to say about Alaska is, bitch, you turned it real quick.
Yes, you did. You know what? Everybody's time in the spotlight's not always the same. You gotta milk it while you got it.
And she has. Good for her.
Yeah, for sure. Look at her.
Oh, Miss Ivy Winters.
Oh, Ivy Winters, another one on your tour.
Yes, one of the most overlooked entertainers from the show.
But it seems like she really makes an impression in her live shows.
She does. She does. What I learned about her is that she used to do clown. She was a clown.
Right.
She did that for a living. And when we think about a clown, we think about them entertaining at birthday parties. But what she does that's so special is she's able to juggle. She's able to eat fire. She's able to do all these things that we think of circus acts doing. Well, when you put that in front of a drag crowd and a drag queen is doing it with nails on and hair and makeup and costuming, it becomes a whole new effect. And the fact that she can do all this, never drops. I saw her juggle knives 10 nights in a row.
Oh my God.
And she never dropped a knife, she never dropped a ball, she never dropped anything. She did cut her finger one night, but she never complained. She's like, oh, I cut my finger. It didn't faze her a bit. One of the most underrated people I've seen from the show, who are so talented, who every night in every city got a phenomenal welcome and thank you from the crowd.
All right, Miss Ivy Winters. Lady Red juggles not knives, just forks, right? That's what you juggle.
She and I
never drop them.
We juggle rolls at the Sizzler. Forks and biscuits.
Yes, Letty. All right, look at them. Tammy Brown, another one from your season who's really been able to, to make an impact with very little time on TV.
And you know why? Because what you see with Tammy is what you get. Everyone thinks that her whole persona is an act. That is really Keith Glenn Schubert. And I can say that because I got to travel with her, and she and I usually room together.
Oh, honey.
And so what you see from Tammy is who really that is. That is really Keith. She's really crazy. She's really as airheaded as she comes off. She's kind of like Rose Nyland. And when I say that, I don't say that she's stupid, but she comes off as like she's just permanently naive and loves everybody and everything.
Till she's about to read your ass.
Until she throws a read at you, and then you realize, no, that's Tammy. But she just comes across, her persona as like a 1940s naive woman.
Yeah, like an ingenue.
Is really Hannah Harper.
Exactly. If you don't know what we're talking about, Google it, children.
Yes, we're all old, so sorry.
Chattanooga choo-choo.
But they watch Feud. They know who Hannah Harper is. Yeah, exactly. Feud, I'm sure.
Look at her. Who is she?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Jinx.
Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't know it was her. I'm sorry.
Sometimes these photo shoots are giving a very different look, and that one's from like 10 feet away, so that could be any blonde woman that we've met.
I just worked with her too, and she didn't have that hair color on. She wears a much different hair color
Oh,
now.
yes. Okay, now I can see that it's
But,
her.
oh, yes, I can see there, too.
Yeah.
You gotta look
Jinx
for it.
is another one who changed the world of female impersonation. The season she was on, just like we just spoke of Hedda Harper, no one had heard of Grey Gardens.
Yeah, you're right.
Until she came out and she did her Snatch Game impersonation. And all of a sudden, all the people were like, who's she doing? She's going to get sent home. Well, she won that night.
Yes, she did.
She proved to everyone that just because you don't know what's mainstream doesn't mean that I don't. So she's just another ingenue. She sings live, she acts. She's another person who does something that the mainstream female impersonator does not. And that's what makes her stick out, just like Sharon.
What did you guys just do together? You just did a show together?
Yes,
or?
she did 3 nights of our tour. We worked in Charlotte, Raleigh, and Greenville. And she sang live every night. She did her Broadway stuff, where on the same hand, Sharon sings live, but Sharon sings her original songs, which are more a little sadist. Or
Devilish,
a little
yes.
more devilish. But it's 2 different personas, 2 different people, 2 winners. You can see why they both won if you're looking at them.
All right, look at her. Now, who is she really, though? Is that Detox?
Detox.
These makeup jobs, it's like, I can't even tell who it is. It looks very gorgeous and beautiful.
It's a fabulous photo of Detox.
It's like, now, I guess we're also,
I think because
we're further away in this monitor. If we look close, that's obviously Detox.
Yes, that's Detox, because her face on here is much more what her face looks like.
Yeah.
There it was much rounder, but Detox is an original. When I hear the name Detox, even before I knew her personally, I knew her from what she had done here in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
And when I moved here 5 years ago, I knew that because she'd already made a name for herself, and we were all like, she needs to get on Drag Race, because we all knew what a crazy person she was.
Right.
The success she has had from the show is not a shock to me or many of her friends who knew her before the show at all.
Totally.
She's a character. She is a fashion icon, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
She is a great performer, and she's a great person. She was on the tour as well, and she came from one tour to that tour and then left and went to Australia, I believe, right after on another tour. She is someone who is a hard worker, and I couldn't do her schedule as she does right now. So she's also someone who is not afraid to work hard.
That is
and
for
that makes
sure.
a big difference.
Yeah. All right, we have time for one more. Look at all. PORKCHOP, this was the greatest moment on All Stars. That was All Stars, right?
Yes.
All Stars Comedy Challenge. PORKCHOP, you gave it face, PORKCHOP.
You know, I have to tell you, that was my honest opinion and attitude that day. I was sitting there watching all these horrible acts during this comedy show, and I was thinking, I wasn't good enough to get cast to do that, and that's what was in my mind.
All right, because you were like, this was supposed to be me on this season.
I wasn't good enough to do what they're doing. And so honestly, I guess that was just my expression, and I knew when they were, because that was a long shot. The director that day saw me looking like that, so he announced, he's like, okay, film PORKCHOP. They literally filmed me like that for a minute, just sitting there going. But that was my attitude. That's how I felt that day, and I'm sorry.
PORKCHOP, thank you so
Put me on
much.
season 3. All
Put her
Stars.
on All Stars 3, yes. Lady Red for season 10, PORKCHOP for All Stars 3. Okay. Before you go, PORKCHOP, of course, we wanted to give you a shirt because you deserve all the attention you can get wherever you go. Wanted to give you your own Look at Available on dragqueenmerch.com. Ding! But for free for you, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yay! Gorgeous.
Oh, it's an XL2, my size. Wonderful.
Perfect. Good job. Thank you so much.
Thank
it's
you,
such
baby,
a
for
delight
having me.
to
It's
have
been
you here.
wonderful being
I
here.
definitely want to have you back so we can have
Oh,
more
me
Kiki and
too.
more stories.
I'll tell you all about
Thank-
pageant dramas.
Yes, darling. And thank you, Lady Red. You're gorgeous as usual.
Oh, thank you.
And of course, thank you, my little babies. We'll see you next time on Hey Qween and Look at all. Bye, baby. Yeah. Dance it out, PORKCHOP. Come on.